Hello everyone, my name is Lowko and welcome to a new game of StarCraft II Heart of the Swarm. Today we're gonna do a little bit of a game analysis of a game that I played yesterday versus none other than Dragon. Oh, you actually could already see this code word. I am the smartest commentator alive. Anyway, it is going to be a Zerg versus Terran. Now, for anyone wondering who is Dragon, Dragon is a really high-level Terran player. He used to be like top 16 Grandmaster, if I'm not mistaken, for the longest time. And obviously, he's one of the most popular Terran streamers of all time, and he still is. He regularly hits like 4,000 viewers or something on his live stream, and on a normal day, probably hits around 2,000. So I think a lot of people that follow the StarCraft II scene will be very, very familiar with him. It is going to be none other than the real Dragon, and for anyone wondering, I asked him right now if he's not gay Dragon, which isn't me being racist. It's just a little bit of a joke that is always going on his stream, because he talks about his sexy cam and how he's not gay and stuff. So, in this game, we are actually gonna see a little bit of you know, it's gonna be a little bit of an aggressive game by me, but I do so with reasoning. I think we will figure it out soon. Now, he was actually streaming while we played this game, so for anyone who wants to play his point of view, you can actually just go to the live stream and you will be able to see everything that is going on from his point of view as well. It is, let's see what day was this thing played. It is, I don't know. It's like the 5th or something today. Anyway, you should be able to find it on his live stream. It's going to be me opening up with a hatchery first on the low ground, obviously, and it is going to be Zerg vs Terran. So I am pretty much 99% safe to do so. Like, how often do you really see something super cheeky where you could absolutely not go for a hatch first? Now, there's always a little bit of a tricky part for, let's say, like a 2 Rex proxy. Would you really want to have the hatch down on the low ground as well? And the answer is actually yes. Even if your opponent is building 2 barracks on the other side of the map, on your side of the map, you could actually still defend that by going for a hatchery first, because you have to creep on the low ground. If you don't have to creep on the low ground, he will just be able to make bunkers at the very bottom of your ramp, and you will never be able to leave your base. So, obviously, it is going to be Dragon, and he really doesn't do that all too much. So I'm just opening up pretty greedy myself, going for a hatchery into a gas geyser, into a spawning pool, which is just a safe all-around build order in pretty much every matchup, but especially in ZVT. And, you know, there's a lot of Reaper shenanigans right now. There's a lot of, you know, Marine opener into like a command center, so there's really no weirdness going on at all anymore. It used to be that a lot of Terran players would go for like something like 6 Reapers or something at the start of Heart of the Swarm, but honestly that is so uncommon nowadays. Most of the time you will just see a very greedy 3rd command center. That is exactly what we're gonna see as well from Dragon. Now, I'm just gonna be playing this one completely normal. As you might have noticed, we are watching this one completely through my vision of view, so you will be able to see exactly what I was seeing while playing this game. And I am just starting my double queen, gonna start a Z of Zerglings, and I noticed, okay, my opponent is right here, gonna readjust the 2nd overload I made, and I'm like, oh my god, that is already another command center going on. Now, whether or not it was going for a 1 Rex Expo or it was going for a Reaper Expo, the first command center should have already been done. So I know for a fact this is definitely the 3rd command center being added on the earliest possible timing. And if we actually take a look quickly at the vision of Dragon, we already do see the net orbital command on the low ground right now. He even built this one before the bunker, and he also built it before taking double refinery. So this is literally a Barracks Expo. You know, it's extremely greedy. Or actually, maybe it was even an Expo Barracks Expo. I'm not completely certain of that. But anyway, it is a super greedy 3rd command center. And at this point, I'm like, okay, am I going to just let him get away with this ultimate Terran greed? Or am I actually going to try and do a little bit of an all-in and try and punish the build that he is going for? And knowing that it is Dragon and he is macro, you know, his macro is absolutely, it's just far superior to mine, to be fair, because he's just ridiculously good. I am going to decide to do a little bit of a more aggressive opener. So I do decide to go for a Roach Bane all-in. Now, considering he has a 3rd command center super early, he might actually decide to throw up a scan in my main base earlier than you would normally see it, just to scout what is going on. So I need to keep that one in mind, because he might just be able to prepare for my push, and I will be able to lose this one completely. So I'm just gonna be making drones for the time being, gonna start transitioning into a 3rd base, because obviously I don't want to be 100% all in, but I do need to be doing a bunch of damage with this Roach Bane aggression that we'll see shortly. Now my Zergling speed finished up, going to be starting my Roach Warren, as you already can see on the production tab, and I'm also gonna be starting a hatchery right now on the 3rd base. Now, in a normal game, whenever you play like this, you should be able to see aliens between the 6.5 to 7 minute mark on your side of the map, but I'm really not seeing anything right now, which might just be due to the fact that he was really greedy with all the gases that he was, or with the command centers he was taking, as gases are just super light. I obviously can't really know that at this point, but I do know, okay, my opponent is really not doing much of anything. I don't see any aggression from him at all, so I will be able to just go straight into roaches without making any Zerglings first. So here we go, roach warren is done. I will be making 9 roaches straight away. And I'm gonna be reinforcing, or 10 roaches right there. I'm gonna be reinforcing the roaches that I made with a whole lot of Zerglings. Sending the roaches pretty much straight across the map, going to wait a little bit, and this inject right here, or these larvae right here that become available, will all become Zerglings. My Baneling nest is finished right now as well, so I'm gonna run those roaches across the map, and I'm gonna hit with a big roach Zergling Baneling timing attack right now. Now, he is obviously completely blind. He hasn't thrown up his scan in the main base. He hasn't thrown up his scan in the natural. He really doesn't know much of anything. But considering, you know, this current meta game of Zerg, you don't really see that many Roach Bane aggression all-ins. Now, I was able to scout the ridiculously greediness of his third base, so I am able to make this decision. But if, let's say, my opponent wasn't going for that greedy third CC and he added 2 more barracks instead, this push would probably never ever work. Now here we go, I'm gonna be morphing a whole lot of Banelings. Gonna be trying to see what I can get done with all these units. Maybe we'll be able to do a little bit more aggression, but there are a bunch of Hellions out right now, which honestly are going to be absolutely easily dealt with right now with the roaches. So here we go, I'm going to be trying to push into the natural. I have a lot of Banelings ready as well, and I'm gonna try and get a whole lot of damage done. As you can see in the production tab, I am producing more and more Zerg. Here we go, he's gonna try to run all the SCVs to the back of his natural to try and not lose too many of them, and I make a little bit of a misclick right there. Running a few into refinery, but here we go, one gigantic detonation. I need a second hit though in order to actually this to be all cleaned up, but it does look like he simply doesn't have any units left. Now I'm producing more and more Zerglings. The reinforcements are arriving right here as well. I'm gonna be morphing a few more Banelings. Now I'm not completely sure if he will be able to hold on right now, but just in case if he does, I will be able to drone up the third base behind this. I have done enough damage at this point. Going to try and do whatever aggression I can get done, and obviously I am looking to clean this up if I am able to. Now he does have a bunch of Widow Mines already ready. We'll be able to actually hit quite a nice detonation right there as well, but just more and more units from me streaming into the natural, or into the main base right now of the Dragon. And as you can see on the production tab, I just have, or in the supply counts right now, I just have way more supply than my opponent. Now, I should actually stop producing units right now, and as you can see, I'm actually doing exactly that. Going to start a lair, going to start more drones, and I'm going to be starting, you know, just a spine crawler in the mineral line in my main base, because he might look to do a little bit of a drop in the main base, and that's really the only way that he could come back to this. Now, I'm just trying to do whatever damage I can, trying to detonate the Widow Mines, and you know, even inefficient trades right now like this are definitely in my favor. Simply knowing that he doesn't have much of anything left, we'll be able to also pick off a few more SCVs with the Zerglings that I managed to slip into the main base, and honestly, it is going very well. I'm droning up behind this, all the while I'm just droning up, and what I'm looking to do right now is just defend any kind of potential counterattack. You always need to be thinking, okay, what could my opponent be doing even though I'm ahead right now? And one of the things that he could be doing, and that I've actually lost to before, is just a straight up drop into the main base with something like Widow Mines, and to prevent that I put a spine crawler in the middle line right there, just to elaborate on that a little tiny bit. Now I'm going to be starting my +1/+1 for my roaches, going to be starting roach speed, and I'm going to be starting Baneling speed as well very soon. I do have 3 base saturation going on very well as well at the third base, and I will be able to just simply severely outproduce my base, or my opponent. But the one thing that I wasn't completely sure of is this thing right here. I didn't notice when I was actually fighting in the main base that he lifted off the command center that I scouted earlier right here, and Dragon is just simply sitting back on his 3 bases, and I'm giving him quite a little bit of an economy right now. There's 3 mules landed, and as you can see, his economy it's still actually keeping up with mine. So even though I managed to kill, let's see how many workers, 41 in total, I actually am still not doing nearly as well as I should, and I will see so very shortly with all the units that he will be able to churn out. Now I am looking to do a follow-up to the previous aggression with roach speed, Baneling speed, and +1/+1. +1/+1 always allows it to actually survive versus something like siege tank. So if, let's say, my opponent was going for siege tank, and I will be able to attack him with Banelings, I will actually not get my banelings one-shotted by the siege tank. So that's basically the rule why I'm getting the +1/+1 up, just to do a little bit more damage. And I will be able to start moving out very, very soon. If you take a look at income once more, he is actually, you know, I am ahead. But I'm not nearly as much ahead as you would usually hope to be at this point. Now, he will actually move across the map very soon. There we go, and I'm like, oh my god, that is actually a very sizable army. I don't actually know how he managed to get all of that up, and obviously, there's a lot of Widow Mines with that as well, so I'm like, oh my god, how did he actually manage to do that? And at this point, I'm like, okay, he probably has the third base up. I should have scouted that a little bit earlier. Obviously, mules mine for a ton, and they, you know, they just pay for themselves really, really quickly. Now, here we go. He will be able to do quite a bit of damage, but how is this gonna go? I actually managed to blow up most of the Widow Mines right there, and I'm gonna try and roll into this army. Now, obviously, that was some Grandmaster level micro right there, because he didn't lose much of anything. He's going to pick up a few of the units and try to boost out of there, but I am forced to do a counterattack right now. If I let him sit back and allow this economy of his to just grow, I will just, you know, I will actually lose this game. So I'm not completely certain for what is going on right now, and I'm looking to just go for the throat. I'm just gonna try and get into the natural and into the main base of my opponent, because that is really where his production is at. Once that production is dead, I will be able to do quite a bit. And I do realize, okay, my opponent's even going for a 4th command center right now. Got a glimpse of that, and you can also see that on the production tab, but it does look like I managed to just do too much damage to him early on, and I will be able to clean up this top Grandmaster level Terran player with relative ease after scouting that my opponent went for a super greedy 3rd command center in the early part of the game, and a roach bailing aggression was just a little bit too much for him to hang on. So I will be able to just overrun him right now, running a few Zergings into the 3rd, and he GG's out. So I want to thank you guys all for watching. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile. We'll see you in the next video. Bye!